Epictetus lived in a world where freedom could be taken from you in a second, and somehow, he still taught people to stay unshaken. His lessons and the discourses were built to keep your mind steady when pressure shows up, when fear starts talking loud, and when life refuses to cooperate. So, what did Epictetus put inside his book that can make a person unshakable, even when everything around them starts falling apart? Epictetus opens the discourses with a truth that feels almost insulting in how simple it is. Most of your stress comes from grabbing onto things you don't actually control. People spend their whole lives acting like they own outcomes, reputation, comfort, and other people's choices. And then they act shocked when life snatches those things away like it was never a fair deal to begin with. And Epictetus had a reason to say this with so much confidence. He lived in the Roman Empire as a former slave who later became a teacher. He knew what it looked like when your schedule, your safety, and your future could be decided by someone else in a second. So, when he talks about freedom, he is literally describing a survival skill. In Discourses, he draws a sharp line between what belongs to you and what doesn't. Your judgments, your choices, your values, your intentions, those are yours. No one can force you to approve of something, to admire something, to hate something, or to betray what you believe is right. That inner space is the only territory you fully own. Everything else sits outside that border. Your body can get sick. Your money can disappear. Your job can change. Your reputation can get dragged through the mud by people who don't even know you. Even your plans can collapse for reasons that have nothing to do with effort or talent. Epictetus treats those things like weather. You can prepare for it, you can respond to it, you can adjust your routine, but you don't get to command the sky. Once Epictetus draws the border around what belongs to you, he goes straight for the next problem. Why does something small feel like it's destroying your whole life? In the Discourses, Epictetus keeps coming back to one idea. Events don't punch you in the face. Your judgments do. That something happens and your mind immediately stamps it with a label. This is terrible. This is humiliating. This means I'm finished. That label becomes the real injury. The event is just the spark. The panic comes from what you decide it means. That's why two people can go through the same situation and walk away with completely different lives. One person loses a job and sees it as proof that they're worthless. Another person loses the same job and treats it like a redirection. Same event, different verdict. Epictetus treats this like a courtroom inside your head. Life presents evidence, and your mind rushes to a conclusion without even hearing the full case. Then you live under the sentence you gave yourself. That's how a single awkward moment turns into a week of replaying your own embarrassment like it's a highlight reel no one asked for. So, his advice is simple, and it's ruthless. Pause before you agree with your first reaction. Don't accept every emotional alarm as truth. Don't let fear write the story while you're still in the middle of a scene. Your mind will always try to protect you by predicting disaster. Epictetus wants you to protect yourself by refusing to panic over a prediction. Because the real danger isn't what happens, it's the meaning you hand to it. And Epictetus knew that understanding this idea once isn't enough. Your mind has to be trained to remember it when the pressure is real. Interestingly, Epictetus doesn't treat philosophy like a bookshelf trophy. In the Discourses, he speaks like someone who's watched people collect ideas the same way they collect gym memberships, proudly and with zero results. He isn't impressed by how much you know. He's interested in one thing. What happens to you when life applies pressure? Because that's where the truth shows up. Anyone can sound wise while everything is calm. Anyone can talk about virtue while sitting comfortably, safe from consequences. Epictetus teaches that real progress looks like restraint in the moment you're provoked, patience in the moment you're delayed, and clarity in the moment you're afraid. He compares training the mind to training the body. You don't build strength by reading about lifting weights. You build it by lifting, recovering, and lifting again. The same applies here. Epictetus pushes his students to rehearse their reactions ahead of time, like a fighter shadowboxing before the match. When insults come, when plans collapse, when people disappoint you, that's the moment you test what you've practiced. and he has no patience for pretending. In Discourses, he criticizes students who admire Stoic ideas while panicking over the same things everyone panics over. Reputation, comfort, status, being liked, he treats that as a kind of self-deception. You can quote philosophy all day and still live like a person who has no inner control. So Epictetus gives a blunt standard. Don't measure your progress by what you say. Measure it by what you can endure without losing yourself. If you can stay steady when someone tries to pull you into anger, you've improved. If you can lose something and keep your dignity, you've improved. If you can face discomfort without begging the world to rescue you, you've improved. And once you start training that kind of endurance, you quickly notice something uncomfortable. The hardest pressure often comes from people, not events. In the Discourses, he keeps pointing out how quickly we hand our peace away. One compliment can lift you like you just got crowned. One insult can ruin your entire day like someone flipped a switch. That reaction feels normal, even justified. Epictetus treats it like a confession. If someone can control your mood with a sentence, they've found your leash. And the ego loves leashes. It wants to be admired. It wants to be seen as smart, important, impressive, untouchable. So it builds a second version of you, a public version. And then it panics every time that version is threatened. That's why embarrassment hits so hard. It's not physical pain. It's the fear of being lowered in the invisible ranking system inside your head. He attacks this directly. He warns that chasing praise turns you into a performer. You start living for the audience, checking for approval, adjusting your behavior to stay safe. Even your good deeds can become a strategy to look good. At that point, you're not living your life. You're managing your image. And once you're trapped in that, you become easy to control. And people can bait you into anger, shame you into obedience, flatter you into bad decisions. Epictetus calls this a kind of slavery, because your inner freedom is no longer yours. It belongs to whoever has the power to approve or reject you. His solution is blunt. Stop outsourcing your self-worth. If you want respect, earn it from yourself first. Let your character be the thing you protect, not your reputation. Because reputation lives in other people's mouths. And Epictetus refuses to let your peace depend on something you can't even hold in your own hands. Then, after he dismantles the ego, he moves into a topic that hits even harder: attachment. In the Discourses, Epictetus pushes a brutal kind of clarity. He reminds his students that people are not possessions. They are not permanent fixtures. They are not guaranteed to stay healthy, loyal, present, or even alive. And the moment you treat a human being like something you own, you set yourself up for panic. You start gripping tighter, worrying more, needing constant reassurance because deep down, you're trying to control what can't be controlled. Epictetus doesn't tell you to become cold. He tells you to become honest. He wants you to appreciate people fully while remembering they are mortal, changeable, and free. That includes your partner, your friends, your family, even your own children. Loving someone doesn't mean turning them into a shield against reality. It means showing up with care and gratitude without demanding life promises you a happy ending. By the time Epictetus reaches the hardest parts of the Discourses, he's done talking about theory. This is where he brings out the real test. What happens when life stops being polite? Epictetus treats hardships like a spotlight. It doesn't create your character. It reveals it. The person who stays calm under pressure didn't magically become strong that day. They trained for it. They practice holding their ground when their instincts scream to run or complain, to blame, to break. And Epictetus doesn't pretend pain feels nice. He just refuses to treat it like a moral defeat. In his view, the body can suffer while the mind stays upright. Fear can arrive while you keep your judgment clean. You can feel the discomfort and still refuse to surrender your integrity. That's the difference between being hurt and being conquered. This is why he constantly warns people about confusing external damage with inner collapse. Losing money is external. Losing health is external. Being insulted is external. Even being physically restrained is external. He pushes one question above all. What did you do with your choices? Did you act with courage? Did you stay honest? Did you keep your self-respect, or did you trade it away to escape discomfort? In Discourses, he speaks to students who want peace without struggle, calm without discipline, confidence without risk. He treats that as a fantasy. Life is going to demand a response. It will test you in public and private, and pain and fear and embarrassment and loss. The only thing you control is whether you meet that test with dignity. Because when the moment arrives, you don't rise to your hopes. You fall to your training. He then ends up in the same place every serious thinker eventually reaches. You are not here forever. Epictetus reminds the students that everything they cling to exists on a timer. Your youth runs out. Your strength changes. Your relationships shift. Your body gets older without asking for permission. Even the world you feel familiar with will keep moving until it becomes something else. None of that is personal. It's the nature of being alive. So he doesn't waste time asking the universe for a different deal. He focuses on the one thing that makes a human life meaningful in the Stoic sense. How you use the time you're given. Not how long it lasts. Not how comfortable it feels. How well you live inside it. This is where his idea of freedom becomes almost shocking. If death is guaranteed, then a lot of the things people chase start losing their power. Praise gets quieter. Status looks smaller. Petty arguments start feeling like a bad investment. Even fear changes shape because the worst outcome is already built into the contract. Every life ends. Every story closes. Epictetus wants you to remember this without becoming dark or detached. He wants it to sharpen you, to make you less dramatic about problems that won't matter in the long run, and more serious about the one thing that will. Your character, your choices, your ability to act like a decent human being even when life refuses to cooperate. So when stress tries to convince you that this moment is everything, Epictetus gives you the final reset. You are a visitor here. Do what you can. Do it well. Don't disgrace yourself by living like you have endless time, because one day you will leave the stage, and the only thing that will feel like it truly belonged to you is how you played your part. And that's it. Now to you, what's the one thing you keep trying to control that Epictetus would call your biggest mental trap? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.